What can you tell us about the Bob and Larry movie? Because I know that that's a very interesting subject, and the fact that it's been hidden for so long and such little work has been done just makes people want to dive into it.
Well, it was supposed to be an origin story. It was really, honestly, should have been the first movie we made, but it was basically the veggie version of a Muppet movie. The Muppet movie where you learn how Kermit gets into showbiz and meets Fozzie along the way and all that jazz. Like, how did the Muppet Show become a thing? Well, that was the Muppet movie, right? So Bob and Larry was supposed to be that. So the general concept is that, there's some mad scientist who somehow brings to life talking vegetables. And man, I can't remember much of the story, to be honest with you, but I do know there was a factory, there was a chase scene because, of course, there's a factory and a chase scene in a VeggieTales film, trying to escape from the factory. As I look at it now, look at the factory escape scenes in Easter Carol and then also the Bob and Larry movie. Phil doing therapy for Phil, trying to write his way out of this giant machine that he felt trapped by. The artist wants to be free from the factory. There was times where we get a script in and we're like, Phil, you okay? So, but it's not unusual for writers to kind of work out their own lives on the page. Aronofsky, all of his films are about, the self-destructive tendencies of the obsessive compulsives. I'm sure there's a little bit of history there in that, right? So you just have this thing where we had the scientist dude and Bob and Larry are kind of, again, it's a I think a strained relationship at first. There was a breakup in there where the two of them kind of go their own ways, but then they kind of come back together again to solve the problem. I can't remember. I just remember being in a lot of design meetings. And one time he gave me the nickname Dr. No because I was a CG supervisor, right? So, they'd come in with these designs on things like that. And I had to think about how we would produce it for the resources we had available. And so there would be this really cool design and Phil would really love it. I'm like, is there any way we can lose the lab coat length? Can we make that like a short lab coat so we don't have to try and figure out cloth sims or animate the tail every time the guy runs around? Stuff like that, right? Just these mundane production questions that somebody has to figure out and think about ahead of time. Like, can we afford to do that? And so there was this one time where Danielle came in with a design and they asked him, what do you think? And he said, well, ask Dr. No if we can do it. And I said, Phil, it's not that we can't do it. We have a wonderful staff of highly skilled and experienced and talented people. We can do anything. The question is, can you afford it? Was always the thing there. So, and it was, again, as we're kind of going through all kinds of financial hardships and stuff like that. And then, of course, production on that got halted because we had to do, furlough people and lay people off. And it became pretty self-evident that was never going to come to pass. So